Okay, I just want to remind you, you don't have to buy all these supplies. You can look, I feel like there's some really affordable supplies, even at Walmart. You can get some watercolor paper there, which is pretty affordable there. I bought this online, so this is the watercolor paper I use. This is Canson XL watercolor. It's 11 by 15, but I like to get extra big paper because I just cut my paper to size based on what I'm doing. Um, the important thing is you do want it to be 140 pounds or 300 grams, and that is the thickness or the weight of the paper. So, sorry, I shouldn't have all my paintings there. But you can, when you get this paper, you can feel how thick it is. And that's really important when you're painting watercolor. You want to make sure that the paper is going to hold the water because print paper is not going to do it. Okay, I'm just telling you, if you try to use print paper, you're going to be really unhappy with the results because it's just not thick enough to hold that paper. Um, and even if you use like multimedia paper, if it's if it's too thin, it will get extremely wrinkled. You'll kind of struggle a little bit with blending and lifting. Like you're gonna run into more issues. Okay, I've tried it. I've tried it. I've used some multimedia, papers that were not as thick as this, and I've just struggled. So I'm just letting you know that. If you still want to use other paper, you can. I'm not going to stop you from doing it. Just keep that in mind, okay? Let's see. Was there a question in the chat? Oh, great. Michael's has a 40 sheet pad on special for $3.99. So that's amazing. That's a really, really great deal because yeah, watercolor paper can get pretty expensive sometimes. So look for deals. I bought mine online, which I thought was not bad. I've purchased it from Walmart before. I didn't think it was too bad either. Um, so think about that first. For watercolor brushes, I bought this online and I'm not endorsing this brand at all. There are a lot of great watercolor brushes out there. Um, some of the other ones that I used to use before were, what was it? Like, I think let me grab it here so I tell you the right name. I get them all mixed up now. Um, there's some really high quality watercolor brushes you can get if you feel like you want to splurge. But also you can just go and get some, normal watercolor brushes that aren't super expensive. Oh yeah, Princeton is the one that I used to use a lot. Which is really nice. The most important thing when you buy a brush is that it says it's for watercolor. Okay, that's the most important thing. Don't get a brush that says it's for oil or for acrylic. And what I mean by that is some of these say water, acrylic, and tempera. You could very well just use that. Okay, that might work just fine because it covers all three. Um, when you do buy the brush, something to look for is it should be pretty thick right here at this base of the bristles, and that's because it should retain water well, okay? Also, I really like when there's a nice sharp tip at the end. There should be a nice sharp tip at the end. That way you can get details. Um, if you're doing watercolor for the first time, you can probably get away with just a medium brush, like a number 8. Um, I feel like a larger brush is nice to have. If you're planning to do a larger painting, a 12 is going to help you. But other than that, I think I could do almost all my paintings with a number 8. Okay, so don't feel like you have to get a bunch of water. I feel like one large one small one is really going to cover most of your paintings. As long as it's got that sharp tip on it, you're good. Um, For watercolor paints, I use Winsor& and Newton, and I've had this set forever, so you can see it's kind of old, but this is a great set because it comes with pretty much all the colors you need. So I really like this one. It's not the cheapest. If you go and try to buy it at the art store, it gets pretty expensive. So you can find a smaller set. Like this is a pretty small set that the school gave me, and I like this set except that it doesn't have black. Okay, that's the one thing that it's missing black, and I wish it had the black. But other than that, it's a great set. So you can go and pick and choose and find a set. I don't recommend getting the dollar store watercolor. Okay, if you want to use it for one painting just to see for the first time whether or not you even want to do watercolor, go for it. But if you want to get good results, you're not going to get it with the dollar store watercolor, unfortunately. Okay. Um, so just something to consider. Pans versus tubes. For me, I don't feel like there's a huge difference. I feel like they're pretty comparable. The only thing is this, you got to squeeze it out, and these get dried out over time. Um, Other than that, I mean, they're pretty comparable, and I don't feel like one's brighter and or more brilliant in pigment. So these are both Winsor& and Newton, but again, there's a lot of options. You can go to an art store and pick some watercolor. What I also like to have is I have my iPad handy, and that's because I like to make sure that I can view the image reference while I'm painting, okay? And I bring that up because I'm not going to always be sitting here having the image reference up as I'm painting. You might not be able to see it as well off of my camera. It's better for you to have it like maybe on your phone, or if you have an iPad or a separate, a Kindle or something to pull up that image, it's going to be a little bit better. That way, when you have access to it, you can zoom in, zoom out, do whatever you need to do. So that's something I really recommend, because having the image reference right there in front of you is much better than trying to look at it through my camera. Okay. Um, Not everyone has a separate iPad or phone that they can pull up the image. You can try printing it. That's actually what I used to do back in the day. I used to print my image references, but that gets really expensive, right? Because ink is super expensive. Last thing is I do have my hair dryer handy, and I just have that because I'm impatient and sometimes we're ready to move on to the next step, and I need to make sure to dry a layer so I can get to the next step. So I do use this. You don't have to. You can just be patient and let it dry. So that's totally up to you. Okay, so I do want to show you one more thing. I bought this drawing gum, okay, which I'm gonna be very honest, I haven't used this yet. This is a way to keep your white spots, like create white spots, especially like these tiny little spots here on this apple. Okay, I've always in the past, because I do acrylic paint as well, I just throw acrylic paint on there. It's always been more simple for me. But rather than tell you what to do, what we'll do for the first painting is I'll show you both. I'll do a little of this and I'll do a little of the acrylic paint on top, just so you can see that difference, okay? And you can decide what you want to do. Okay, I think we can get started here. Let's stop this recording.